That's what you say.
Yeah, just reaching out to them to remind them of the deadline and
Yep.
okay,
Yep. Just like,
okay.
hey, by the way, today's our due diligence deadline. Um, we could back out and get our earnest money back up until today, but you still want the house, right? Like almost like a joke.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, okay, something like that. Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to think what else. And then,
With new construction, it's almost too easy on you with these kind of deadlines. But like I said,
yeah,
normally it would be like, we finished all of our due diligence. Are you good to move forward?
yeah, okay. Ma- Brittany's on the phone. I don't know, Brittany, if you send an email also as the TC. I know Jeanette did. Should
Sorry
I
for
do
what?
both? Hi, Brittany, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. We were just talking about how it's due diligence deadline today for my buyers, and we were just talking about how to reach out to them to remind them. And I was just going to call them or send them a text. I didn't know if I know Jeanette would send an email or something. I don't know. Just wanted to kind of get our plan for the day.
Yeah,
Is that something you
I
do?
can easily
Yeah.
send an email.
Okay. Is that something you normally do or just kind of?
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Okay. 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 Well, that's great too. Perfect.
So easy.
Thank you.
You're going to worry too much about this one, Amy, because the last one you had to worry a lot about. This one
I
you won't.
know. I know. Speaking of that, does anyone know the sign company that came and picked up the sign? Because I did not get to my listing in time and it was gone. So I'd like to reach out to them and see if I can find my sign that has my photo on it.
Oh, yes. Shoot a text to Jeanette and Brittany and let them know. I bet it was Jeanette that did it. Um,
April. Yeah. I did send her a text.
okay. She'll get back to you. I know her Mondays are usually
Okay.
crazy in the morning, but
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Sounds good.
With you not having a
Perfect.
listing, no rush. But maybe even we could have the sign company install that one the next time that you take a listing. So you don't even have to store it anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
If
could
I,
pop-
yeah,
yeah.
I'd probably rather just grab it so I know that I have it. I know where it is. I don't,
Yeah. Yeah, that's usually easier.
yeah.
So
Okay. I'll wait to hear from Jeanette. Thanks.
okay. Callie, I'm so glad that you're on because I have like long messages for you. Aren't you on vacation right now?
Yay. Yeah. I mean, we're coming home today, but we've been out
Okay.
of town.
Just so everyone knows, the rules of vacations are when you go on a vacation, you tend to get offers and buyers that want to see houses.
Yeah.
That's how it always works. So when business
Congrats,
is
Callie.
slow, go on vacation.
I know.
Um,
I got an offer when we went to Disneyland. Or was it? Yeah, when we went to Disneyland, I think. I got my first offer on the fourplex, and then when I was driving down to Vegas, I got an offer on Friday night.
Ah,
yeah, yeah, that's how it works every time. Okay, so to answer your question, so I don't even have to type these out. So they added that addendum that says their title company will hold earnest money. That's actually very common. Some brokerages don't let you hold earnest money. You have to have a trust account, and the brokerage has to do a whole lot to make sure that they are in compliance with that trust account and things like that. And so some brokerages don't want to do that, so they just send it right to the title company. It really means nothing to you. It's actually even better when you're the seller because, for example, if you're the buyer here and you cancel before your due diligence deadline, Dean will look at that and be like, due diligence is this day. You canceled within that time. Here's your earnest money back, Mr. Buyer, Mrs. Buyer. The title company will require both the buyer and the seller to sign off on something to release the earnest money. So it's kind of worse for buyers and better for sellers, because if they want to fight for any reason, usually they'd have to have a reason that they were doing it, like maybe like 4:59 on the financing deadline, canceling because you would not get financing for a house that has spiders in it or something stupid like that. Then you could kind of fight it a little bit easier. So that's even better for you. With the seller being listed incorrectly, you can just fix that in an addendum. A lot of people will put owner on record, which is also not the name of the sellers. So you will have to put the name somewhere at some point. And so just responding in an addendum saying that the sellers are the Brown Family Trust, then that should work. So with them having when was their response deadline? Or not their response, their acceptance. Look at me calling it a response deadline. Their acceptance deadline, the 21st at noon. So if you cannot get to this beforehand, as long as you do some sort of a counter offer, you are going to give them an acceptance deadline. So you do not need to respond by this. You need to accept by noon today. So if you can't make that, then you just respond, and it would be real easy because we already need an addendum spelling out the correct names of the sellers. So then you could just say, write an addendum. It would be number 2. You would do a counter offer in both of those, and the counter offer would be sellers are so-and-so. Now, whatever you don't reference in the addendum means that you are accepting it once they sign. So once all parties sign, you're accepting to everything that is not mentioned. So if you're good with I notice it's a little bit longer deadlines for settlement, even due diligence and financing appraisals kind of long. If you wanted to move those up, that's really my only other advice. If they want a long close, that's fine if you're fine with it. I just like to keep due diligence and financing still kind of close. So then the earnest money is hard sooner. Because right now, as it is, they have about a month to finish their financing. And then like 3 weeks after that almost 4 weeks after that to close. And when are these
They
deadlines?
chose a really long close date because she's going to Germany for a few weeks, and so she'll be out of the country, and then she's gonna be in Utah because she lives in Texas right now when she closes. So she chose a date when she's here.
Okay. Good to know. Yeah, so if you're okay with that, great. Otherwise, there are ways that you can sign in other countries, as Amy knows, but it is not easy or cheap. You have to go to embassies and get things done that way. But there is the possibility for that. But if I were to do anything, I would just say quicker due diligence and quicker financing, and then if just you do that. By the way, for all of you right now, looking and writing up offers, definitely pay attention to deadlines. Because the 26th is the day before Thanksgiving. So that was one of the deadlines in there. So the financing and appraisal is the day before Thanksgiving. So if you're traveling for Thanksgiving, that is just a recipe for working while you are traveling. So you can start to pay attention to like what you're doing and things like that. And by the way, it's not bad to have deadlines when you are traveling. It's just if it's last minute anything, you're going to probably have to be doing something. So if you're like, I'm going to be on an airplane all day, like Shoni just flew to Dubai or something like that. And so he's just on planes for like 24 hours, it seems like. So if he had a deadline during that time, there's no way that he could do anything. And sometimes buyers get very scared when they don't have a resolution to whatever is on the deadline and they could cancel. just to make sure that their earnest money is still safe. So, okay, did that answer all your questions, Callie?
I think so. So I would want to just do a counter with at least an addendum changing the name, and then I can change the deadlines if we want to, or
Yeah,
in
and I
the
just
counter
asked
as well.
them. Yeah, because that's really the only thing, because it's like a week for seller disclosures, but then adding on a whole bunch more time for her to do an inspection. And
Yeah.
then another 2 weeks to do financing. Like she could get, like, in an ideal world, I go 7, 14, 21 for like seller disclosures, due diligence, and then financing.
Okay.
But even like you could go faster for seller disclosures, but 14 days for due diligence and 21 for an appraisal, that's kind of normal. Where she's looking at way more than that for both of them.
Okay. I'll
21
look at that.
days for the due diligence. So they're just probably just trying to spread all of those out. But if you can just tighten those up, that might be a little bit better. But if your sellers are fine with it, let's roll with it. Just
Okay. I'll
they're locked up a
talk to
little bit
them.
longer, worst case scenario. Like if her financing falls out, she doesn't have to cancel until the day before Thanksgiving. So then you'd be back on the market then.
Yeah.
If you're not worried about that, then you'll just be under contract for a long time, which is also not a bad thing.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
this week for the DTD2, we have H and V as in Victor. So H and V, hopefully you don't have too many people. Harrison, is that a last name? I have a Velarde. He's one of my friends that I sold the house to a couple years ago, so I get to call him. Finally thought of one of the letters, one of the names. So go make your calls, reach out, and then Ignite starts today at 9:30. So we will catch you all soon. Thanks. See ya.